What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining us here on Horticulture Geek. I'm Ray, and today we're gardening for the Lord. So welcome back to the channel. I'm Ray, and today we are at my church. This is where our family comes to church. And some of you that follow my channel and that I've met in person know that we are involved in our church. Well, one of the things that I do at our church, which I encourage all gardeners to do, is to use your talents and time for the Lord. And so I do that. I try to put my money where my mouth is, so to say. And so one of the things I've taken on at our church is to do the planters and containers and some of the landscaping things because I have an understanding of that stuff and I like to do it. So today I thought I would bring you along as we switch out all of our, not all of, some of our pots and planters for Easter. We're in our welcome center right now. The wind is blowing a little too much outside. So you can get a little peek at the church welcome center here. So I started a unique program here maybe 4 years ago now. I can't remember. Sorry, switching hands. Where I adopt out the church planters and flower beds. So church members who are interested in gardening or flower beds or just interested in making the church pretty can come to me and they can adopt one of our pots, planters, or flower beds. And when they adopt them, we adopt them usually twice a year. Once for spring, summer, and once for fall, winter. So you're not stuck with it for the entire year, but you know, twice a year. Some people do adopt the same planter over and over and over, or the same flower bed. But this gets church members a way to get involved and to do their own thing in a flower bed at church to contribute. And it really works out well for us. And so I personally adopt 2 planters at the entrance door here. This is actually a rear entrance door. This is not the main lobby of the sanctuary. This just happens to be the welcome center rear entrance door. But you can kind of see those 2 pots right there. We'll go see them close up in a second. But I adopt those 2 personally. So I've got all my winter stuff that has made it really beautifully from fall to winter out there. But I had some ornamental kale in there, which you'll see. It bolted. It's ready. The whole thing's ready to switch out. So we're going to work on that. And the other thing I was going to show you is, as a fundraiser for the church landscaping and beautification, every year I sell Easter lilies. So church members can buy an Easter lily, as many as they want, in memory or in dedication of someone they love. And we put their names in the church bulletin for Easter Sunday. And then I go and order all the lilies. I pick all the lilies up. I bring them. I put them in the sanctuary. And after the Easter services, people take their Easter lilies home. They can plant them in their yard. They can put them on their table, whatever they want to do. And all the proceeds come back to the church landscaping and beautification budget. So that's a really good way that I have found to kind of put a little money into the pocket here to have the funds to do some of the stuff that we want to do as a church. But with all that being said, and I probably will say this again, but if you're a gardener, if you have a talent, put it to work, use it. If you're a religious person, just put something to work, do it, get out there. Get your hands dirty in the soil. So many times it's so easy for us as people to get involved solely in our own personal lives and our own interests and activities that we forget that to be a good steward of our community or our church, that we need to participate in activities there as well. And if there's a way for you to plug in, even a little bit, maybe this is your way. Maybe this is how you contribute to your church or your community. And this doesn't even have to be a church thing. Maybe you live in a town where the downtown is small. They don't have the budget for plants and pretty things downtown. So maybe you start growing some stuff for seed and putting it around downtown, with a community group, whatever. The sky's the limit here, guys. But anyway, that's my ramble. So let me get out here to these pots. I'll show you the pots as they are. I'll show you what I've picked up to switch them out. We'll switch them out, and then I'll show you all the Easter lilies. So I'll be back in just a few seconds for you. All right, so here are the planters that we are redoing today. I had some kale in here. It was really pretty. It bolted. Even when it bolted, it's pretty, and it fills the pot up. And I had some other things, pansies, all sorts of stuff. But as you can see, they're getting tired. Everything's looking a little sad. So it's time. We're gonna empty these pots out and put fresh soil, fertilizer, and plants in them. So let's get to it. Oh, and I will show you just a fern, just to fill the corner over here. So, kind of gives it a pretty welcoming entrance when you come in. Oh, and this is a fun planter over here. Let me show you this one. So this is a fun DIY box. I actually built this box out of cheap wood. As you can tell, it is cheap wood. I mean, I'm not a finished carpenter, but I needed something because another church member brought in one of these big, huge, like feed barrels, I think like farmers get molasses in them or something like that. So, and I know other YouTubers talk about these big barrels a lot. Arms Family Homestead uses these a bunch for his self-wicking containers. That's what that is. It's one of those huge pots, but it's just an ugly plastic mess. So I needed a way to disguise the ugly plastic mess, but it's still a good pot that holds a lot of dirt for plants. So I literally went to the hardware store. I bought some 2x4s, built a simple frame, and then skirted the whole thing with cheap boards. I think altogether in wood and screws, I made this thing for under 25 bucks. Like, it was not expensive at all. All it took was a little time. And now we have a pretty little planter that sits here at the back door. And it's rustic, and it's supposed to be, and that's okay. And the lady that has adopted this planter hasn't come in yet with her summer stuff, but she has this camellia bush in here that will be pretty on its own, but she will come in and plant something under this. And here's another flower bed. So this is the original church steeple, and the original sanctuary was torn down to make way for the new sanctuary with all the Easter lilies in it that you'll see. But they kept the steeple, and this is some of the rock work off of the foundation of the original sanctuary. So they collected some of that and made this flower bed. And I've put rosemary in it. The shrubbery was already here. And then, not for today, not for Easter, but in the summer, I will fill this bed with something that just gets big and pretty and colorful. That'll be summer interest. And I usually try to do butterfly attractors in here too, just because, I mean, butterflies buzzing around the church, to me, is just pretty. So there's that flower bed. All right, let's get to these pots. arborescens bulbs that I had planted in there. And they've actually started to put off some babies. So I'll save these and put them in another flower bed. All right, so I did not empty all the soil out of the big pot just because that's a lot of soil. And with annuals, they really don't go that far down deep into the soil. So there's no like clunky root system down in the lower part of this pot. So I just keep that. I'm gonna put some fertilizer in here anyway and fresh soil towards the top. So it should be fine for these plants. So now let me show you what I've got for these pots. All right, for the big pot, I'm gonna do a cast iron centerpiece. It's a cast iron plant. Some begonias skirting that. And then some white impatiens for the rim of the pot. And then for the small pot, I've got this heuchera or coral bells. And this is the carnival heuchera. So I love that, purple. And then I've got white begonias to go around it. So in both pots to tie them together, so I've got the pink heuchera with the white begonia. Over here I've got the pink begonia with the white impatiens. So I've got a pink and white theme going on in these pots for right now. So let me get these planted up and we'll put them in place. All right, so here's pot one. So I've got my cast iron plant with my begonias and my white impatiens. So I think that turned out pretty good. I'll water it in when I get it over there next to the door. All right, let's move on to the next one. So here is the second pot. So I've got the heuchera coral bells and the white begonias around the bottom. So let's go get this one in place and we'll water them in and show them to you side by side. Okay, here they are side by side. And this is how they're meant to look in the shade. These are shade plants. Excuse me, I can't talk today. So if you'll notice, I am under a breezeway here at this door. So that's why I went with a Boston fern, shade loving, heuchera, cast iron, the begonias, and the impatiens. All of these do well in shade to part sun, because there are some parts of the day where the sun comes in and gets these containers. So everything should be happy here, but everything here can tolerate shade too. Whereas that corner, other than this little patch right here, so this corner gets some bright light, but it never gets direct sunlight. So the Boston fern shade loving is the way to go there. And by the end of summer, as you all know, that'll fill up and it'll just be touching the concrete. Like it'll just fill that whole corner up. All right, so I'm gonna water these in and then we'll go inside and look at some Easter lilies. All right, so just a nice gentle shower, not too much pressure. I just want to get this soil good and wet without beating these plants down because they are a little sensitive. All right, I'm gonna continue giving these a good deep drink. All right, so we are now in the sanctuary. And so here are the Easter lilies. You can see there's a bunch there, the big, obviously, bunch there, another corner there. Then I've got one on that table, and there are some on the back wall there as well. Window, 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 table, 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 window, window, window. How pretty is that, guys? I love it. This is my favorite time of year. Well, this and Christmas, but something about Easter lilies, they just make the sanctuary magical. And if you could smell in here, Easter lilies do have a fragrance, and it's not really noticeable if you just maybe get one unless you're right up on it. But with all of these in here, I think there are 56 in here this year. So we had 56 ordered. With all of these in here, the smell, it's just kind of a faint, sweet smell in the air. Oh, it's awesome. So there are our Easter lilies. So hopefully you will enjoy that. Here, I'm gonna get a little close-up view. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this quick walk around our church. I hope you've enjoyed the projects that I've shown you. I hope you've drawn some inspiration from this. I mean, I really do mean it. You don't have to have all the time and talents in the world. If you can just do one thing and you can contribute to your church or your community, do it. Get out there, put yourself out there and serve. Serve others, serve the Lord if that's what you want to do. But guys, I seriously, I hope you've enjoyed what I had to show you today. I hope each and every one of you have a wonderfully blessed Easter. I know we're going to have fun here tomorrow for our Easter services. And you know what? If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet for some reason, hey, go ahead and subscribe and hit that like button down there. That helps me out. And if you hit that notification bell, every time I post something new, you'll be the first to know. All right, guys, from my church to wherever you are in the world, I wish you all the best and happy gardening. Have a blessed Easter.